Imagine trying to say the word red, but it's written in green ink. Sound simple? Think again. Your brain is about to get very confused. Have you ever stared at a word and felt your brain glitch just a little? Welcome to the Stroop Effect, one of psychology's most fascinating and frustrating experiments that reveals just how tricky your brain can be. At first glance, it seems ridiculously easy. Just say the color of the word, not the word itself. But when the word blue is written in red ink, something strange happens. Your reaction slows down, your brain hesitates, and sometimes you even say the wrong thing entirely. Why? To understand this bizarre brain phenomenon, let's rewind to 1935, when psychologist John Ridley Stroop published a groundbreaking paper that would become one of the most cited studies in cognitive psychology. The experiment was simple, yet incredibly powerful. Participants were asked to name the ink color of color words, for example, saying red when the word green was printed in red ink. And what he found was astonishing. When the color of the ink and the word didn't match, people consistently took longer to respond and made more errors. This is now famously known as the Stroop Effect. So what's really going on in your brain when this happens? Let's break it down. Your brain processes reading almost automatically. It's a skill you've developed over years of practice. In fact, for most adults, reading has become so second nature that you don't have to think about it. But recognizing colors, while also easy, is a slower process because it requires conscious attention. When your brain sees the word green in blue ink, it reads the word first before recognizing the ink color, creating a cognitive conflict between two competing pieces of information. This creates what psychologists call interference. This interference happens in the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making and attention. The brain essentially has to fight with itself to ignore the word and focus only on the color. But since reading is automatic and faster, it often wins. That's why your response time slows down. This battle between automatic and controlled processing is at the core of the Stroop Effect, but it gets even deeper. The Stroop Effect is more than just a quirky trick. It tells us a lot about how attention, perception, and control work inside the human mind. It is a classic demonstration of cognitive control, our ability to suppress automatic responses in favor of more appropriate ones. This makes it incredibly useful in fields like neuropsychology, brain injury assessment, and even early diagnosis of disorders like ADHD or dementia. In fact, the Stroop test is still widely used today in clinical settings to evaluate attention span and cognitive flexibility. What's even more fascinating is that variations of the Stroop test have shown that our brains can also struggle when words relate to emotions or moral judgments. For example, reading the word fear in a happy color like yellow creates a different kind of conflict, emotional interference. This opens the door to research in emotional processing and even trauma responses. You can even try the Stroop Effect at home. Write down a list of color names in mismatched ink colors, like the word purples in green ink or yellow in red, and time yourself while naming the ink colors out loud. Then try a second list where the words match the ink colors. You'll notice the difference immediately. It's like your brain is tripping over itself. The Stroop Effect is a beautiful illustration of just how complicated and layered the mind truly is. It shows us that what we perceive isn't always as simple as it seems, and that even basic tasks can become tangled webs of mental activity. It reminds us that attention is a resource, not a given, and that the human brain, while powerful, isn't immune to conflict. So the next time you struggle to say blue when looking at the word green, remember, you're not losing your mind. You're just witnessing your brain's internal battle between habit and intention. And that's what makes the Stroop Effect not just a psychological trick, but a window into the architecture of human cognition. If you found this fascinating, imagine what else your brain is hiding from you. Hit that subscribe button, tap the bell icon, and explore more psychological mysteries with us here on Psychopedia. Don't forget to like, comment below if you've ever tried the Stroop test, and share this video with a friend who loves mind-bending science.